You are listening to the Brand Architect Podcast, and this is your host, Ani Alexander.
Hey there everyone, and welcome to the Brand Architect Podcast, the podcast that helps you establish your brand and grow your online audience. I'm Ani Alexander, and before we start, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and granting me with your time and attention, because it really means a lot to me. So before we get to today's episode, I wanted to let you know, guys, that I'm very happy to receive messages from some of you who already tried our sponsor SiteGround's web hosting services, telling me that you are very happy with them. I was absolutely certain that you'd love them. I'm using them too. I love them as well. And thank you very much for the feedback and for letting me know. For those of you who have not listened to the previous episodes and wonder what the hell am I talking about, here is the deal. Brand Architect podcast sponsor is SiteGround. SiteGround offers managed web hosting that customers love. The hosting services are crafted for personal, business, or enterprise projects. Whether you're using a custom solution or a popular open source software like WordPress, SiteGround lets you build better, faster, safer websites more easily and offers multiple hosting options that your website can grow into. And you, being Brand Architect listeners, are entitled to a great deal. All you need to do is visit www.anialexander.com/SiteGround and get up to 60% off on all hosting plans. And they will also move your website for you for free, so you don't need to worry about the whole hassle connected to that. So, if you have not checked them out yet, do it now and thank me later. Okay, and now let's get to today's main topic. Today I have a very special episode. It's gonna be a solo episode. I'm gonna open up a curtain a little bit and share with you the backstory of my upcoming plans, so you're in the loop and you know why and what am I going to do soon. So those of you who listened to the previous episode know that I promised to talk to you about the new things I have come up with and how that connects to Patreon. So let me start with the backstory first, and we'll start from there and go further. So, if you have been around for a while, you probably already know that I'm a true believer in genuine human relationships. And I don't only mean personal friendships and real-life people. I believe that it's the same for the online world and for the online business. I'm amazed how many people talk about SEO and traffic, about profit and sales, and about the length of the content and the social proof. And very few of them only realize that it is not about all those things at all. Because most of us who started our online activities and started creating online content and tried to grow audiences initially wanted to help a certain group of people, right? And we don't just want Facebook likes or Twitter followers. We don't want fake and inflated numbers and stats. We want numbers that represent real people. People from the group that we're trying to reach. And when we create content, we write, talk, and live stream to a person. We may not be looking at people's eyes, but we're talking to them. We're sharing part of ourselves. We're trying to help them out and maybe change their mood. We try to motivate them, encourage them, show them how. On the other end of the world, in front of a monitor, or in my case, somewhere in the car or in a gym, there is a person who hopefully gets a value from what I do. And I think in order to be true to yourself and succeed in the online world, you gotta do one thing. Simply, genuinely care about your audience. I don't mean tell them that you do care or advise others to do so. I mean really care. Not about how much money they can spend on you, not about if they'd like you or not, if they'd share your stuff. No, just caring about them. Just like that, simply caring. All that said, Of course, I realize that we need to make money. Of course, you and me spend time, money, and effort creating what we create for our audience. No doubt about that. I don't argue that at all. I'm not talking about charity. I'm not talking about doing everything for free. No. All I'm saying is, while you try to find ways to make that money, make sure that you stay true to yourself and don't damage the relationship and the trust that you have gained from your audience. Because as I said in the beginning, it all comes down to genuine human relationships. And if that is not in place, if that relationship is not healthy, and you simply try to take advantage of your people, even if things work well right now, believe me, you will fail in the long term. So what's the best approach, you may ask? All I know is that there is no magic button. There is no one way to do things, and you should experiment and see what works best for you. And that's what I have been doing for a while, to be honest. In the past year, I had decided to treat my online activities as a business, because otherwise I'd need to forget all this and get back to job search. So I learned everything I could about what works best now, meaning Facebook ads, sales funnels, online courses, lead magnets, email marketing, sales copy, and all that stuff. And yes, it does work. Yes, I know many people who have made a lot of money by setting all that up, and I have interviewed many of them on this podcast even. So now I know how things work. But there is a big but. Honestly, when I was planning everything for what I do, it did not feel right for me. My gut feeling was it would probably work, it would probably bring money, but I will probably not enjoy it. And the problem was, all that did not incorporate and it did not have in its core you guys, my audience. It was not going to be about relationships and engagement and community. And I did not like that part at all. So I was looking for something better, something that instead of pulling you into a funnel and emailing you all the time, would rather be transparent from the beginning and you'd step into knowing what to expect as opposed to getting a PDF and ending up with thousands of offers in your inbox. I wanted to come up with a model where I would get more involved and engaged with my audience, where I would bring more value to you and help you with things that you need. I've decided that instead of scaling and reaching out to more people, I'd rather prefer having more intimate and better quality relationships with those who are already listening to me and who already know me and would like to join my tribe. And that's exactly when Patreon comes to the scene. What is Patreon, you may ask? Well, the short version is, it's a crowdfunding platform for creative content creators. Something like Kickstarter, but instead of one-time support, the creators get ongoing support. Patreon is a way to join your favorite creators' community and pay them for making the stuff you love. So the platform gives your favorite creator an opportunity of making a living doing what they do best because of you. So I had interviewed on the podcast about Patreon 2 years ago, and you can check it out and get all the details about what it is, what the platform can do, what it includes, and all the other details. It's at anialexander.com/28. It's episode number 28. So you can check it out and find out much more, but you've got the short version already. So, having said all that above, I have decided to try something different in the upcoming few months. And from now on, most of my efforts will be directed to Patreon and having you guys over there. And why? Well, because I want to create exclusive content for all those who support me on Patreon. I want to be accessible to you and provide tailored value to your needs. I want to answer your questions, help you with your projects, know you better, and engage more with you. I want to make sure that this podcast, as well as any other content that I create, is of much better quality, that the topics, guests, and formats are exactly what you prefer them to be, and that we know each other better, engage more, and become real friends. So if I get enough of you to support me and the brand architect, I will have more time to come up with better stuff for you and to put more effort to serving my tribe better. So does this mean that the brand architect will not be free and will be accessible only to those who support me on Patreon? No, not at all. Please don't confuse the two. Not at all. The weekly episode of this podcast will always be free for everyone, and I will always appreciate every single listener, no matter if you support me financially or not. So what it means is, if you support me financially on Patreon, then on top of the free weekly episode, you get many extra perks, additional exclusive content, live Q&A sessions, and much, much more. So I have all the details as well as cool video for you over there. So please make sure you go and check it out for me, okay? So simply go to anialexander.com/Patreon, and I'd love to have you in my exclusive community. Well, that's it, I guess. That's all that I had. That's all I wanted to tell you. I just wanted to share with you the backstory and keep you in the loop of what's happening and what to expect. So meanwhile, don't forget to also check out SiteGround and their amazing web hosting service. As a Brand Architect podcast listener, you get 60% off and free website migration. So it will be a shame to lose that opportunity, and I personally use their services, and just by moving to them made my website 4 times faster. So get the discount at anialexander.com/SiteGround. Hope you're going to have an amazing weekend, and I can't wait to see you at the Patreon's platform. So once again, anialexander.com/Patreon, and let's have more than one-way communication like we are having right now, okay? As always, thanks for listening, and hopefully you'll tune in next week for the upcoming episode. Meanwhile, take care, bye.